Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here for today's Assemble This video. I have lots to share as I played around with some toner reactive foil and I'm using up those leftovers to create two cards at once. I'm trying out 4 different ways to use the foil leftovers on white cardstock, so stick around to see which method worked out best and which ones did not. I'm featuring the Seraphim Butterfly stamp set from Unity Stamp Company. This butterfly is so big and gorgeous. It's absolutely full of detail and it's so unique in that it's so big that it's perfect for 2-for-1 card. So I stamped it out using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink on a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 white cardstock, and then I just grabbed my scissors and I fussy cut around the image. When you're fussy cutting, you want to make sure that you're turning the paper and not your scissors. Turning the paper creates a smoother transition for the scissor blades and you don't get these sharp jagged edges. And here it is all cut out. Now I want to use it for 2-for-1, so I'm just going to cut that butterfly right in half. And then I'm going to set them aside for later for when I assemble the cards. Now for the foiling part, I grabbed a piece of striped pattern paper, it's black and white, and from the Eternal Midnight Weave paper pack from Unity Stamp Company. I had a hope that they printed with toner foil, and they do, so it does react with toner reactive foil, and this is by Deco Foil in the pink melon color. I just trimmed that down so it was about the same size as my 4.5 by 3.5 inch panel. Placed that in a carrier sheet and then put the foil on top so the pretty side is facing me, and then ran that through my laminator. Now my laminator did heat up for at least 30 minutes, so it was really hot, but I do run it through twice because laminators do not carry as much heat as something like a mink. And then I just peeled that away, and it's always magical to me, the shine that you get from foil. So I just repeated that process with 3 other colors. And then I saved that negative piece to try with different adhesives to see what works best on white cardstock. First up, this is Artist Tack. This is a new to me adhesive sheet. It has little tiny micro dots, and I'm really liking it for die cutting, like stacking die cuttings or things that are really intricate instead of using liquid glue. So I'm just putting the negative foil onto a sheet, rubbing over the top so I get a good amount of those micro dots, and then I pulled it away and realized that half of them are kind of left on that sheet. But that's okay. It kind of has a cool effect. So I put that down on another panel the same size as my pattern paper, and then rolled over the top with a brayer to make sure I get a nice adhesion. And I thought about leaving it this way, but then I thought there's this clear sheet on top that usually you peel away when you do foiling, so I just kind of peeled that away, and it's kind of cool. It left this really distressed look for the foil. So you could leave the whole foil sheet, or you could tear it away and have a totally different look. Next up, I'm trying adhesive sheets. Now these have a full coverage of adhesive, so no micro dots, and I thought that might be a little bit different from the distress look we got from before, so I really wanted to see how these worked out. They work the same, you just place them on the sticky side and then kind of rub them so you get a nice adhesion of the glue. And then I tore these away and they are so sticky. Look at that. It just kind of tore my whole foil in half. And those things are really strong. So I don't know if this worked really great. These are really strong adhesive sheets. So maybe a different brand would work a little bit different, but I didn't want to throw it away. So I pulled those off and lined them up and put them on my panel, and it worked out just fine. You really can't tell that they tore in half. Plus, I'm really into that distressed look, so it didn't bother me that that was kind of torn in half. So with this one, I thought I'd try and tear it away, but that adhesive will not let go. So in the end, I just left it as is. So this kind of gives you an idea if you choose to not pull away that foil from the adhesive, that it will work out and it looks really nice. And that holds true for the next 2 methods that I'm going to show you. This is spray adhesive, and there's lots of brands out there, so whatever you can find. I just sprayed the back of the negative foil and then laid that over the top of my panel. Gave it a good roll with the brayer, and then when I lifted that up, again, this adhesive is just like so strong. So it left some foil on my mat If you run into that problem, just grab some isopropyl alcohol and give it a good rub with some elbow grease, and it came off my mat just fine. Now I tore this one away as well, but again, that adhesive is really strong, so it tore away some of the cardstock too. Again, this is a distressed look and I kind of like that, but it wasn't really what I was going for with this project, but I like this idea for something in the future. So for this one, I would have left it alone and not peeled it away from the paper. Next, we have transfer gel. Now this product is made to be used with deco foil. You just take a palette knife and then you do a nice thin layer over the top of your cardstock. Now this does take quite a bit of time to dry, so that's why you want to go as thin as possible, and then you don't really want a lot of texture underneath that foil either. Now this does take quite a bit of time to dry, so set it aside and let it do its thing until it's clear. You can gently heat it, but you have to be really careful that you don't cause it to bubble. I did not let mine dry as well, just to give you a heads up. So it is really important that you let it dry. And then you want to run it through your laminator, or if you have the duo gel, you can just run it through your die cut machine and the pressure is enough to adhere it. So here you can see that I did not let it dry and it kind of peeled away some of that foil. So next time I won't be so impatient and I'll let it dry completely. So once all the foiling was done, I took a die cut from the Scallops and Rectangles die set from Unity Stamp Company, and I did one scallop and one rectangle from each of the coordinating panels. And here are my thoughts on what I think worked and didn't work. I really like the artist tack. I like this look from the dots if I'm going for that distressed look. Plus it was really easy to use, so I would do that one again. Now the spray adhesive I would use again. I thought it was really easy to use. I don't know if I would pull it away unless I really wanted a real strong grungy look. This is the adhesive sheets, and I will not be using these again. They were too strong and really hard to work with. And then last is the Duo Gel. I like it a lot. You just have to wait for it to dry. And I tend to be impatient, so this would be my last choice, but if I'm willing to wait, I would pick this one again. And here's a look at the final cards. I took each panel and put it on a card front. I popped up those butterflies just on the wings and then I glued the bodies to the panel. And then I added some washi tape and black pearls to add a little bit of accent to each one. I did not add a sentiment. I like the idea of keeping these blank so I could use them for anything, or I can add a sentiment later on. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please be sure to like and subscribe to catch all my video tutorials, plus it helps my little channel grow. If you have any questions or sweet comment, post below. I hope you enjoyed the process today and are inspired to give it a try. I'll see you again soon. Bye!